Is it wrong/weird to not follow the news, for the sake of your own mental health?
No, it's not weird. Reading the news can cause you to develop mean world syndrome. I turned the local news on a few nights back. Within a minute and a half, I heard about 3 separate events where people died. I turned it off. Who wants to listen to that? It's all we ever hear about. Stopped watching TV and reading newspapers around 13 years ago for this reason. And despising the overabundance of advertising. There's plenty of news floating around the internet, but I've learned not to participate in outrage or divisive political and corporate propaganda or discussions unless I can deal with disappointment. At the time, there are simply too many people out there afraid of what happens outside their own homes or social circles with an opinion not based in fact to bother wasting time on. Learn to realize much news, advertisings and discussion around it prey on your fears and inadequacies. Learn to recognize this. Remain objective. Don't give into it. No. News is intentionally negative for you to pay attention. It would be much better for society if we mostly ignored the news and just lived our lives. No. Especially when the news focuses on negative events and sensationalized issues. The news isn't really news anymore. It's outrage media that's supposed to make you feel bad. More and more people are tuning it out. I stopped watching TV almost 16 years ago and don't miss anything. 5 minutes of show. 5 minutes of the same commercials. Repeat. Pharma commercial and then right after that lawyer commercials suing drug makers. Last time I turned on my TV was to adjust an aerial antennae I bought and haven't turned it on again since last February. Going on a complete news hiatus can be so refreshing. Put that device down and just read a book. There were times I did that and I felt so much better. Especially with everything going on in the world. The only issue is it can be awkward when new policies get enacted and you are unaware of and people act like you live under the rock because you haven't interacted with any news for over a week. I gave up watching the news a few years ago for the same reason you did. Most stations are either fear-mongering or shoving propaganda down your throat until you choke on it. More often than not they are doing both. I still follow the news and keep up on world events though. But it requires effort. If I see a headline I am interested in, there are resources out there that do offer more objective reporting. Unfortunately, there is no way to completely avoid bias, and I have learned to take anything I read with a grain of salt. I am far less stressed and less pessimistic than I used to. Reading, learning, and forming your own conclusions based on what you observe instead of being told how to think is liberating. I took the new app, widget, whatever off my phone's home screen a while back. It was too much to be constantly bombarded by negative news. Especially with COVID. I realized I feel better and happier without the constant news stream.
Most news is just shit to get the audience angry and entertained.
Even Reddit, Instagram, some posts, news just ruins my day and increases my anxiety and trust issues. It's probably best that you're doing what you're doing. That said, if there are serious issues that affect you, you should find out information about that. It doesn't mean you need to go to the news sources though. They're usually biased anyway. It's normal. Being able to give a shit is a privileged position. It takes energy that a lot of people with very full, stressful plates simply don't have. If you don't have it, don't sweat it. I was almost entirely unaware of the world or current events in the 90s because my life was a disaster. The world didn't blow up because I wasn't paying attention. It's not news anymore, it's clickbait. Avoid at all costs. It's not strange or bad. I do exactly the same thing. Most people are massively overexposed to it, and it's not good for a lot of people' mental health. When I grew up, the news consisted of half an hour on the TV in the evening. Now it's all day every day unless you make a point of avoiding it. I know that it's actually recommended that you don't watch the news. I ran into this tip when I was at my worst and digging around. I stopped reading the news over a year ago now for the same reasons. It's depressing having to constantly see all the awful things in the world. I don't even look at headlines. I don't think it's weird at all. You have to protect yourself at the end of the day, especially if you're sensitive to these things. The world is a horrible place, and it's hard to constantly have it shoved down your throat by the media. They didn't lie when they said ignorance is bliss. I realized that 99.9% of news and politics don't really affect my day-to-day life or interests. TV and media is all about two things. Division, money, edit. I am actually dumb. It's not a bad thing in my estimation. News and social media especially are businesses that thrive on emotional manipulation, and I feel much better since I stopped participating in it over a decade ago. I check the websites of my local paper and a TV station most days, but other than that I'm out of the loop. Feels good.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.